since we are at 1 o'clock. Alrighty, everyone. Thank you guys for joining us for our final NCC meeting of the 25-26 program year. I can't believe it. Time is flying by. So take a moment and review our agenda for today. And if you have any questions throughout the meeting, please feel free to use the chat or the hand raising icons. So we're going to talk a little bit about collaboration, get some updates from different departments here at AGA, and then talk a little bit about lead and remaining program year opportunities. And just so you guys know, this session is being recorded. I will send that out along with the slides and any links to resources that we discussed during today's meeting. Okay. All right. So here are our National Governing Board members for 2025-2026. We have Mark Allen Mitchell, our National President. Melinda DeCourt, our National President-elect, who we are so lucky to have join us today. We have Donna Sandoval, our National Treasurer, and Atisha Burks, our National Treasurer-elect. All right, then we're going on to our area directors, or also directors for chapters. So for Area 1, that is Ethan Draves. For Area 2, we have Claudia O'Hara. For Area 3, we've got Carla Flores. And for Area 4, we got Teresa Miner. And hopefully these names are sounding familiar to you guys. For Area 5, we have Bobby Derrick. Area 6, we have Kelly Stavenko. Area 7, we have Brian G. And lastly, Area 8, we have Paul Lionikis. So our directors for chapters or area directors are really great resources for you guys as chapter leaders and really good people to reach out to for questions, resources, support, etc. So going through the rest of our NGB here, we have Demeke Adams. He is one of our directors at large, along with Bill Colbert. And then we have Drew Sadler, who is our Professional Certification Board Chair, and David Zvada, who is our Corporate Partner Advisory Group Chair. Now, speaking of area directors, our directors for chapters, we have National Governing Board positions open for July 2026 to June 2028. So National Governing Board or NGB positions do run for 2 years. So right now, we're going to have openings soon for directors for chapters in areas 1, 3, 5, and 7. So those are all of our odd areas. And everyone here is a National Council of Chapter representative, so you are eligible to self-nominate. I'm going to take a pause for a second, and I'm going to pass the mic over to Ethan Draves, who is the Area 1 Director for Chapter, to just talk a little bit about his experience in his time being an area director. Is it working, Ethan?
Hello? Can you hear me
There
okay?
we go. We can.
Okay. I hit it and it didn't unmute. But thanks, Dana. My name's Ethan Draves. I'm in Boise. So I'm in that beautiful red region right there, Area 1. So I've been on the National Governing Board for a couple years now, and it's been a really great experience. I've gotten to meet a lot of people throughout the country and doing a variety of different jobs and really kind of build that network and get to know more about what's going on out there, and then also meet people within my own region and kind of develop those relationships as well. So it's been a really positive experience. The whole board has been great. It's been great working with everybody. Getting to know a lot more about what actually goes on at the national level for AGA has been really interesting as well. And it's just been a great opportunity to put myself out there. So if you are on the fence, I would highly suggest you just put your name in, and if you get picked, it's going to be a great time.
Sorry, was muted there. Thank you, Ethan, for sharing. We appreciate you sharing your experiences as a director for chapter. And loved having you. You've been great thus far. So, if you guys have any questions about the role, please don't hesitate to reach out to either the outgoing area directors or us here at AGA National. We're more than happy to fill you in. And just so you guys know, I will link the contact information to the current area directors for 1, 3, 5, and 7 in my follow-up email if you want to contact them. All right. And now I am going to pass the mic to Ann Everett, our CEO, for a few opening remarks.
Thank you, Dana. And in speaking with leaders or about leaders and leadership, I would be remiss if I didn't remind you all, we have National Leadership Training event coming up in just 2 weeks. It's the 18th and 19th. We do have a virtual, component of it. So if you can't be here in person, we would love you all to certainly participate and be active in that. And it's interesting that, you Ethan mentioned learning about other areas by being on the national governing board. It's great, and we get to hear more directly from and about chapter leadership from the directors for chapters that are on our board. So it's always been very helpful. And I also want to thank you all as National Council chapters members for keeping the leadership efforts going and connecting with your chapters and connecting with each other. I mean, this is a really a great opportunity. And I hope you all continue to take advantage of the people that you've met at the NCC or through the NCC, because they're like you. They're chapter leaders. They want to help their chapters grow. They're trying out new ideas. And so please continue to keep that network going. And as we're talking about leaders, you may not know, we have at our national leadership training, we have an awards program, and that's closed now. People have submitted nominees for that. But PDT, for professional development training, our event in the summer, we also have an awards program. And it's, people, I mean, you all run into leaders all the time, people that are making a real impact in your organization. So it's a great time to recognize there's no cost to it. Nobody has to pay anything to submit a recommendation for somebody to be considered for one of the many leadership awards that we have at PDT. So please take a look on our website, take the opportunity to recognize the people that have made a difference in your lives and as leaders and mentors and people that are impacting positively the accountability community. So with that, I'm going to turn it back to Dana. Thank you. Appreciate you all being participants here and thank you for your leadership.
Thank you, Ann, for sharing. And next, we are going to have Melinda DeCourt. She is the 2025-2026 National President-elect. I'm going to pass that over to her.
Hey, thank you, Dana, very much. Just quick sound check. You can hear me okay? Okay, excellent. Great. Well, it's great to be with you guys today. And I wanted to spend just a little bit of time on today's call talking about a recent chapter visit that I just made, and then an upcoming chapter visit. And in particular, I want to talk about the fact that I was able to speak with some college students, which I just thought was an amazing opportunity. And it really made me reflect. I'm going to say something that sounds kind of silly because I think we all know this, but those college students are our future. I mean, and so again, it's silly because yeah, duh, we all know that. But I sometimes think we lose sight of it, and I know I lose sight of it. And so as I was able to speak to these young up and coming professionals, it just hit me that these are the folks that are going to be the leaders in 10, 15, 20 years from now. These are the folks that we should be spending time with and cultivating. So 2 weeks ago, I visited Little Rock and spent some time with the Central Arkansas chapter. It was just a phenomenal visit. I mean, the hospitality was amazing. And I see some of you guys from that chapter on this call. today. And so I really enjoyed being able to spend some time with the chapter executive committee, getting to know them on a more personal level, and just understand a little bit about the challenges that they face in their day-to-day role. In most of these individuals work in state government, and a lot of the challenges that the state government faces are the challenges that I know I face in my federal facing role. I'm a contractor to federal agencies, but it was very interesting to hear that a lot of the challenges that I see in my day-to-day working with federal agencies are also the same challenges that we see day to day in working with state agencies. And then I got to celebrate with the chapter on their 48th anniversary. And that was pretty cool. So 2 years away from being 50 years old, I think that's just awesome. And then I got to meet with the legislative auditor, who actually founded the chapter. The legislative auditor group was the entity that got the chapter up and running, and really got it moving in the direction that it is today. And so I know that the legislative auditor is proud of that accomplishment. So it was fun to talk to them and just better understand their role in driving the chapter to where it is today. But then I got to speak with some students at the University of Arkansas at Little Rock, and I met one of the professors for the class that I spoke to, and I also met the chair of the accounting department, and then also another senior member of faculty there, and they were just amazing. They were so appreciative that we were there talking, and so that was neat just to see how excited they were. And I thought the students were extremely engaged. I think students, when they think about government and then they think about accounting, it's kind of like a double whammy. I mean, and I made a little bit of a joke to them. I was like, well, how many of you guys think, a government accountant is somebody that's kind of hides behind their cubicle, typing numbers into the system? And I said, guess what? That's not us. I said, that's certainly not me. And that's certainly not most of the government accountability people that I meet on a day-to-day basis. And I talked about all the different things that we do in government and how we can go out. I mean, if you want to be an auditor and go out and audit programs and see some really cool things, that's something that you can certainly do. If you enjoy working behind the scenes, working the numbers, I mean, that's certainly an opportunity as well. There's just so many different ways that you can take a role in government financial management, government accountability. And I made sure to include the fact that, we at AGA are so much more than just government financial management. We're HR, we're IT, we're program managers, and so on. So they really, their eyes were kind of opening up. They were seeing all the different options that they could have in government. So they were pretty excited just to hear about it. So hopefully, if I made an impression on just one of those individuals, then certainly the trip was more than worth it. Hopefully I made an impression on more than just one, but even if just one of those individuals is excited about government, they're going to get their peers excited about government as well. So it only takes one, just getting one person excited, and then from there they will fuel the excitement of their peers. So just a great opportunity. And then tomorrow I'm going to Jackson, Mississippi. Really looking forward to that trip. I see Philando on this call and a few others. So looking forward to spending some time with you guys in person. And it'll be a very similar flow as what I just experienced in Little Rock. I'm going to get to spend some time with the chapter executive committee and spend some time with them at their meeting, and with the chapter leaders. But I'm also going to get to talk to an accounting class and the accounting society. So again, another opportunity to hopefully get some interest and excite the future generation, and help them see the different opportunities in government. So I said earlier that one of the experiences, or some of the experiences that I face in my role with respect to the federal government, is some of the same challenges that our state and local government folks experience. And really, one of that biggest challenges is just it's succession. It's finding those up and coming leaders that want to come into government and grow their careers in government. So that's why I just think it's so important that we focus on those college students and get them excited. So I'd ask that you guys, as you're thinking through, and I know we're more than halfway through this program year. But as we continue this program year and start to gear up for the next program year, I really encourage you and challenge you to think about ways that the chapter can work with the universities there in your area. I am always up for a chapter visit, and I would definitely like to come and speak to any accounting class, but we also have other leaders on the National Governing Board who are ready and available to do chapter visits and do the same thing that I just did in Little Rock and what I'll be doing here in the next couple of days down in Jackson. So I encourage you to really think about that. We have folks here, Meredith Newman in particular is on this call, and I know John Steele is on this call, and they've been working a lot with BAP and ways that we can, as an organization, AGA, can work with groups that are up and coming professionals. So I encourage you guys to work with them and find ways. But if your chapter hasn't already established some sort of alliance or some sort of relationship with the university or college in your area, I really do encourage you and challenge you to explore that in the remaining portion of this program year, because again, I think that that's where our future leaders are going to come from, and I want to do my part in helping to get those guys excited. So thank you guys, appreciate it, and well, I'll turn it back over to you, Dana.
Thank you, Melinda. I appreciate you sharing. I think that was well put and wonderful. And I think it ties in perfectly to kind of the theme that we're talking about today in our breakout sessions during this meeting. So, speaking of, today we're going to be talking a little bit about collaboration or relationships, different ways that you can think about it. So, different ways that you may or may not have collaborated with other chapters. Maybe you formed partnerships. Maybe, like Melinda said, you built relationships with universities and students. Maybe there's some other sort of collaboration that you did that's not listed there. So in your breakout sessions, I want you to kind of think about these questions to kind of lead your discussion, right? If you are in a chapter who has collaborated in the past, think about how did that help your chapter? And if you have not collaborated in the past, maybe share why not. Talking about what sparked the collaboration, what types of collaboration you may have done in the past, things that have worked well, things that have not worked well. Maybe also reflecting on a challenge that your chapter is currently facing that a collaboration of some sort could help solve. So really try to talk through that there and figure out different opportunities, right? A lot of times we hear from chapters, we're burnt out, we're out of ideas, etc. And collaborating with other chapters or having partnerships can definitely reduce that stress or burnout, provide innovation, and expand reach to a larger audience. So collaboration doesn't have to be complicated, formal, big at all. Okay. All right. Oops. And one other thing, you have a little homework. At the end of your breakout session, we ask that you take a moment to identify 1 to 2 organizations you'd like to contact for potential partnerships. And then 1 concrete next step to move the idea forward. Okay, so that could be drafting an email, it could be finding the contact information, anything. It could be small or big, that next step. All right, so as a refresher, to join the breakout rooms, I will start them shortly. You're gonna press those 3 little dots on the Zoom screen, and then you're gonna click join breakout room. I'm gonna have the areas there, so 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna have them combined, sorry. So 1 and 2, etc. So you just click on the one that your chapter falls in. So I'll backtrack for that. All right, so I'm gonna start the breakout groups. You're gonna move yourselves to the appropriate area. If you don't know where your area is, take a look at the screen and you should see your chapter listed there. Okay. And I'll have that ready in a second.
I do not see where I hit the breakout rooms.
Give me 1 second, sorry.
Okay.
Didn't save as I had anticipated. Okay. All right, there we go. And then I will provide you guys with a 5 minute warning a 5 minute warning and then a 30-second warning when it's time to come back. All right, so I have now opened all of the rooms. You should see that pop up on your screen. And again, if not, you just click those three little dots in the circle at the bottom of the Zoom and you join the room that matches with your area. And if you have trouble joining, just give me a shout and I'll help you out.
Dana, do you need to stop sharing? I'm looking for you said under more?
So to go back, so on the
Oh,
bottom, yeah, you'll see like on the bottom of Zoom, you'll see this circle with the three dots. It says more, and then click join breakout room.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And then if you don't know what area you're in, you can take a look at this chapter map. All right. Sherry, do you need a little assistance?
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna hang it out here.
And I'm looking at unassigned. It looks like we're all good.
I hope you had a very productive conversations in your breakout rooms and you found those helpful collaborating with others in your area. So we're going to just share out a little bit about what you guys talked about. So I'm going to start off by calling on some lucky area directors to share an insight from their group's discussion. Then if there's time, we'll open the floor for a general discussion. But please feel free to use the chat, hand-raising icons to participate or just add in anything extra. So I'll put these on the screen for you again, just as a little reminder. And I'm going to just choose today. And I want to see if Carla has anything to share from her breakout room.
Sure. Thanks, Dana. And I apologize. I am off camera today. I'm having a lot of technical difficulties in my current setup. So our group consisted of both area 3 and 5. We had quite a few folks that have done partnership with GFOA, SDFM, as well as other chapters. I know for us in the Dallas chapter, during COVID specifically, we had partnered up with the Ozarks and Oklahoma City chapters to host tri-chapter virtual professional development training that were very well attended, and it helped spread kind of like the workload during that time. And then we have some chapters that have also done collaboration with IAA and ISOCA, especially for networking events. One big lesson learned that we wanted to share is if you are planning to do partnerships, is have an agreement in place, documenting kind of like the share of the finances, right? Like who's paying for things, how are you splitting the revenue of these events if you're planning to have events across organizations, as well as the duties, right? Like who's doing what, who's responsible for moving any one of the actions forward. Having those agreements up front would help alleviate some of the headaches that might come about. We did have a note from one of the chapters had tried to do some partnership with the local WGFOA, but one of the issues that kept coming up, especially for training event, was deciding on topics between a chapter that is very state heavy versus a local GFOA chapter that's mainly interested in local topics. So I know Meredith had mentioned doing topics on AI, which is something that everybody should be interested on. And I had mentioned our Dallas chapter recently hosted an AGA event, and we had a session on risk management around AI, right? Because that is something that will be applicable to more than just the state versus local government. And then we talked a lot about BAP and trying to move forward partnerships with the local BAP chapters that are in our regions. And the immediate action item that I took personally is emailing Dana and John about who the chapters are for the BAP ADA pilot.
That is perfect. Thank you, Carla, for sharing. Those were some really good insights. I really do like the sentiment you shared about, switching to a topic that has a broader appeal. And I also obviously love that you followed through with your homework as a former teacher. So thank you for sharing, Carla. All right. So next, I'm going to call on Kelly Stefanko. Do you have any insights you want to share from your discussion?
Yes, and I want to apologize to Claudia, who is my co-area director in our group, because it was Claudia's great insight that we both started in the same chapter, and so it was interesting that we were paired together. But Claudia is a great example of collaborating with other chapters, because Claudia's LA chapter is starting a CGFM study group, and it's open to all candidates. And so no matter where you live around the country, she's been very good about sharing that. And so the idea that, if you're in a chapter and you have folks that are interested in, members that are interested in certification and want to be in a study group, and you don't have the resources in your chapter to run a study group, Claudia is inviting us to piggyback on with her chapter, and how great that is. It's just kind of a load off if you're, short on volunteers. Similarly, we share a lot of educational activities. They just had a lunch and learn recently, and they invited everyone that throughout AGA to attend, and we try to do similarly. And some other of the examples that we shared were things like, kind of piggybacking on, speakers and newsletters and things like that, just to kind of hear what other folks are doing. And so I thought that was a great idea of a collaboration, with other chapters. So I will turn it over back to you, Dana, but I know there were many other great ideas that came out of our group.
Awesome. Thank you, Kelly, for sharing. I appreciate that. And would love to. I saw Claudia's CGFM study group. I think that's great, and hopefully I can share it with all of you guys as well, if anyone's interested. All right. So then I'm going to call on Ethan. I think you had areas 1 and 7 in your group.
Hello, I'm back. Yeah, and I will just also say how great Claudia is at collaboration. She's always sending out her events to us, and we really appreciate it. But what some of the things that we talked about in our chapter was we talked about the BAP and trying to partnership with those and getting the colleges and universities involved. The other things we talked about is seeing if there's a GFOA chapter around and trying to get involved there. And then really some of the other conversation was talking about collaborating with other chapters and sharing speakers. And this will be useful because as we like, especially in our chapter, we're a big state and local government, or mainly state government chapter. So if there's speakers on state stuff, we have a lot of those, but we don't really have any federal employees, so we don't have any of those speakers. So by utilizing other chapters that maybe are more federal dominant, then we have federal people, so then we might get more interest in federal people in our region to come to our events because we have these federal speakers, whereas now we're just we have a hole. So those are kind of the big ideas we came up with.
Thank you, Ethan, for sharing. I think that's a great idea. I love that you touched on like your chapter being more state and then looking into federal to engage a bigger and broader audience. So I think that's a really great idea and could also be a really good tactic for membership recruitment. I'll come back to you later though. All right. Thank you, Ethan, for sharing. And then I think last but not least, we had our areas 4 and 8. So Teresa or Paul.
Well, I'll start off. I like that Paul in the Washington chapter, they have had a lot of events. They even have an annual picnic that they have, and I like the idea of actually getting together in person to get to know people. So I thought that was really, really good. And then also already from the Central Arkansas, they have already sent me a link while we was on the call to collaborate on one of their meetings where you can earn CPE credits. Is February the 17th. So I like that they're already taking the initiative, to try to create something now. And hopefully we can continue to do this moving forward.
Yeah, just to add to that, the in terms of how it generally helped the chapter, which was one of your questions, the opportunity to see more speakers than a single chapter would be able to attract. So, by going to each other's events, they're either getting an opportunity to see additional speakers or they're sharing speakers, making it easier. They get better participation in events and share the workload. It seems like primarily the collaboration is with virtual events just because of geographic distance or challenges to transit, crowded metro areas. Just travel time is still a problem, and in person is just still really difficult um, to convince people to come out. Something that you guys just mentioned that sounds like it's a very important thing. I just wanted to make sure that I foot stomp is letting other chapters know that you're having virtual events so that they can join and participate. And something I thought of, it didn't come up at the meeting, but making sure that AGA knows when you're having events so that it can be advertised on the AGA national website. Because for virtual events, you can get people from anywhere in the country, right? So I think that's it. Anything else that I forgot, Teresa?
No, I think that's all.
Thank you, Teresa
Okay.
and Paul for sharing. I think that was some really great feedback there from you guys. Let's look at the time. So we do have a few more minutes. I just want to kind of like open the floor and ask a question about something that I didn't really hear about too much. Paul touched on it lightly, but I just wanted to hear about how collaboration might have helped your chapter, whether that was, gaining new members. Were you able to, recruit student members that eventually were on your CEC? Did it reduce your burden, stress, etc.? I think a lot of times people stray away from this because it feels like, oh no, there's more work being piled onto me. And so I think it might be important to kind of talk about like, what were the benefits? How did it help you after you passed that one hurdle? So if anyone has any thoughts, want to raise their hand or in the chat? Yes, Lisa. Thank you. And Lisa, if you don't mind telling us what chapter you're from, that'd be
I'm
great.
from Central Arkansas AGA, and the collaboration, and I did not talk about it in the group, but as you were talking, I realized that one of our big collaboration that continues to go on with various colleges in the area is we involve them in our community service. I mean, I don't, but the results are amazing because we always get, if we're collecting something or we're actually keeping Arkansas beautiful and doing cleanup outside, we get so much more participants. One year, the whole band students from another college joined us in collecting things for the homeless. And here recently, the college helped us. We were collecting a house asked for diapers for a homeless shelter that has our house in the local area. And we went to the accounting sorority group and we give them thank yous and letters for that. And it helps them with their society, with their organization joining with us, but it has been very beneficial, making our community events a lot larger than what we think they would have been otherwise.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that, Lisa. That's a really great idea. I hadn't actually thought of that one myself, so that's a great way to get students involved. Appreciate you sharing. Does anyone else have anything that they would like to share? And it doesn't have to be about that specific thing, but anything surrounding collaboration, partnerships, universities? Can I just ask one more question, actually? Does everyone know what BAP is? Because I've heard the reference of BAP chapter a lot. Do we know that that is the Beta Alpha Psi chapter? All right, I see some thumbs up. Okay, okay, good. If not, no worries. There is going to be a slide kind of talking about some opportunities coming up as well. All right. And then also just one other thing that I kind of wanted to touch on that Paul had talked about earlier in regards to sharing your chapter events. I think that's a great idea, right? To promote it to as many chapters as you can. And this is a great time to utilize your area directors. Your area directors have the contact information of chapter leaders all in every chapter throughout your area, as well as throughout the entire country, right? So that would be a great person to reach out to, like, hey, we're having this event. We would love it if you could share it with the chapters in your area. It's quick, it's easy, and it's a way to lean on them for some support there. It's just something to. All right. Give it 30 seconds to see if anyone else has any more comments or questions. All right. So now we are going to head into our 5-minute break. Ignore that time on the top there. I'll have to correct that. But I will see you guys back here at 5:10. Or sorry, not 5:10. My apologies, 2:10. 5 minutes. See you soon. Thanks.
Did I miss something? I'm not seeing my little
Lisa, we went on break.
break right now.
The
Okay, I'm
5-minute
sorry.
break.
Yeah,
No,
sorry.
you're good.
5
I
minutes.
was fighting with all my tabs. I'm putting it back up, but you got to put it a certain way in order to not
So
stop the
someone
timer.
walked in my office. I apologize, and I got headphones on. I slipped it off to address it. Sorry.
It's okay. Alrighty, everyone. Welcome back. I hope you guys had a nice little break there. All right, so now we are going to kind of move on to like a little bit more of the informational part of our NCC meeting. So what I'm going to do is I am going to pass the mic over to our membership manager, Meredith Newman, just to give us a few quick updates.
Thanks, Dana. Hi, everybody. If we can skip to the next slide. I just wanted to let you know we have rolled out last week an updated version of My AGA, the member portal or user portal. It is, oh, nope, I got ahead of myself. Congratulations from the Fall Recruiting Challenge to Oklahoma City chapter. They ranked in the top 5 for both the number of new members and the percentage increase during the challenge. So big increase there. Thank you so much, Oklahoma City, and we'll probably ask you soon for tips on how you did it. If we can go on to the next slide. So yes, we did an update for My AGA. You should see fewer tabs, like you see the profile tab across the top there. You should see some streamlined things that previously appeared in a couple places, now only appear in one. The biggest ask I have during renewal season is, as all of your chapter members are logging in, if you'll please ask them to fill in that secondary email field. This is our biggest data issue when it comes to customer service, is we have so many work email addresses, and in this day and age, people are transitioning jobs very quickly. So those email addresses can become outdated rather quickly. So having a personal or a secondary email is a great way to make sure we can find them if we need to. We can get them renewed and get them engaged with our events. My email got cut off across the line, but sorry, this is what I meant to say. If you come across anything on the user portal, the My AGA, that doesn't work the way you expected, or you can't find something, please, please, please let me know. We did put a lot of work into this, but we don't use it the same way that you all do. Our back end looks completely different. So we're not in there every day. You all are in there more than we are. So please let me know if you find any glitches there. Now we can go on to the next slide. So it is renewal time. Renewal invoices will be hitting your email inboxes over the next few days with that PDF attached. That was a new feature last year, and we found great success with that. If you need it before the next few days, you can download it from My AGA. We know that wait time is an issue. We have escalated this as high as it can go. It is no longer in AGA's hands, and they're working on it, but we don't know when it will be fixed. We just know those reports take a long time to load. So you may want to click that in a different tab and go back to what you're working on and come back to it. We did switch the way we prorate new memberships last year. If that doesn't ring a bell or you don't already know what I'm talking about, you don't need to. What you need to know is that anybody who joined before this past December, so just a couple months ago, they will be expected to renew by March 31st. If you'll remember, if they joined over the summer, they paid a prorated amount to join, a smaller amount. And so now this will be the first time that they're paying the full year of annual dues. All right, we can go on to the next slide. Any members who need a paper invoice mailed to them, they do need to opt into that in their profile. We are not planning to mail them unless we already have you down as not opted into paperless billing. We do accept all different kinds of cards and ACH. Online payments are faster, more secure, and provide instant confirmation. And Dana, if you'll click on this slide, it should pop up. If you have a member or yourself or your employer wants to pay with a paper check, I would ask that you hold that paper check in your hands, go online and use this ACH payment option, or you can give us a call. Sorry, the air just turned off. HVAC just turned off in my office and I don't have to yell anymore. You can use that paper check to pay online or over the phone. Again, it's faster, more secure, and provides instant confirmation. There's no other humans between you and that payment getting processed. Anything that we put in the mail, we don't have as much control over that anymore. We are having a lot of mail issues. So I would strongly, strongly discourage you from mailing us a check. If that's how your office has to do it, maybe ask the question, why? Is there a more modern way? Not listed here is EFT payments. So especially for our groups, that electronic funds transfer can be a good way to get the dues to us without having to put a check in the mail. All right, we can go on to the next slide. I know we sometimes have chapters that like to submit dues for multiple members. I do want to say that this is not the preference from AGA National. We are a small but mighty team, and it helps us operate more efficiently when payments don't require staff hands-on to process. If you are planning to submit dues for multiple members, please communicate. We can help you streamline it on your end, on our end, and we can crisis averted when we communicate ahead of time. Just a reminder that if you are holding on to those dues at all, those memberships and renewals are not activated until we have had the time to process those. And then again, just going back, please collect a personal email address for each member. And next slide. Anybody who misses the due date, we have done away with the grace period. Just in the day of online payments, we're not waiting for carrier pigeons to deliver invoices anymore. So memberships will be suspended on April 1st. Anybody who gets suspended can renew anytime and be immediately reinstated. There's no penalty, there's no additional fee for membership to be reinstated. However, this is going to be problematic for CGFMs. Once their membership is suspended on April 1st, their CGFM billing will switch from $40 to $85, and they will have to contact us to get that adjusted. So it can cause a little more, labor on their end. So we just want everybody to renew by March 31st. We can go to the next slide. I said communicate with us. I just want to tell you one of my favorite parts of my job is getting to talk to members, chapters, and chapter leaders. I would love to set up a time to chat, just hearing about what's going on in your chapter. We can talk about all the stuff we talked about today, like collaborations. We can identify new areas to engage in membership, talk about a member retention strategy, or maybe tweak what you've already got going on. Talk through your upcoming events and make sure they're inviting to new potential members, or what is somebody feeling as soon as they walk in the door. And then I mentioned group membership. This is a great way. Our groups have a very high retention rate. So converting your office, if there are multiple AGA members and or CGFMs in your office, let's get that converted to a group membership to increase efficiency on your end and on ours. I think that's it. I meant to put that link in the chat. Let me do that. It is the same link that I put before. All right. I would love to see my email inbox fill up with so many chapters scheduling time with me. And Dana, I think I'm going to throw it to John for the next slide.
You are. I just want to pause for a second and just see, does anyone have any questions for Meredith about anything she just said? Because I know it is renewal season, so double check and never hurt.
And the renewals town hall recording is available. I'm sure that Dana knows where it is.
It is posted on chapter resources.
Perfect.
Mm-hmm. And that would be underneath the town halls section as well as the membership section. All right. Well, I see there's no questions. If you have any, if you think of any afterwards, please feel free to drop them in the chat. And I'm now going to actually pass it over to John Staley, our Director of Intergovernmental Partnerships here at AGA.
Well, thanks, Dana, and thanks, Meredith. We're here with an exciting announcement for you. On that previous slide there is that one of the things that we get to do is head to a Beta Alpha Psi annual meeting as well as their mid-year meetings. And Meredith and I will be at two, one in Orlando and then one in Cincinnati. And it turns out that when we're in Cincinnati, because of the timing of everything, there's an opportunity to meet you all in person if you're in the area. And this excellent Cincinnati Cyclones Pucks and Pup Night, it was just too hard for us to resist the opportunity to put something around. So if you're in any of the chapters near Cincinnati, we will be there on March 7th, 2026. So if you have an opportunity to come visit us or check it out, we'd love to have you. We'll also be talking to people at Beta Alpha Psi about are there any students around or professors who are in the area and have an event to come by. Part of what we're finding is if we put something on the calendar out there, it gives people something to say yes to, right? So if you happen to be in the area, I want to be a part of this, come check it out, come out to an event, make it around it. And just showing up is part of the experience. So we wanted to share this with you all. If you're in a chapter that is a driving distance for them or want to take a trip to Cincinnati, we'll be here. So we're coming to visit. Look for this type of opportunity coming forward. Anytime we're in your area, we want to take advantage of, it's great to see everybody on Zoom, but breaking bread together and saying hello in person is really important as you build that relationship and connectivity going forward. So I wanted to share that out with you right now, and you'll hear more about it kind of going forward.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing, John. And if anyone is interested in having a meeting with John as well, in that AGA staff bookings link that Meredith sent in the chat, there is options for him to be there to discuss more partnerships. So I will also include that in my follow-up email. All right. Moving right along. So now we're going to talk about CGFM certification. I'm going to hand it over to Katya Silva, our Director of Professional Certification.
Thank you, Dana. Hi, everybody. So we always start the year strong with some of our CGFM events and promotions. So this is not an exception. So if I can have the next slide, please. So we are running the Pogo promotion. Yes, we like to have some fun with our promotions. So here you go. We have the Pogo stick here. And Pogo stands for Pass One, Get One. We really want to encourage individuals to pass their exams and get get certified, get those exams completed. So those who pass an exam during January, February, or March can get a free exam, and they can pass. And if actually they pass 2 exams, they can have another exam. So somebody can get their exams done, for the price of one. All 3 exams for the price of one, if they are successful in getting it done within this 3 months period. So it's a challenge, but it's doable, and it's a great opportunity. So if you know of anybody who is currently studying or has kind of been going towards that goal, this is a perfect opportunity to get it done, get the exams under the belt, and kind of keep going. So information is on our website, but please spread the word. Let your chapter members know that this is available to them as an opportunity to save money and get their CGFM exams passed as soon as they can. So next slide, please. We get a lot of questions about CGFM, how to become one, how to study, how to maintain it. So we have a series of webinars. These are all free. These are all available to anybody who is interested. And we have them coming up in February and March. We'll schedule additional ones. So if you go to the webinar section of the AGA website, you'll see all of these available. So the first one is this week, actually. So again, let other people know if they're interested in, want to learn about the benefits, want to learn if they're a candidate and kind of want to discover some strategies on how to prepare, or if there are an existing CGFM and have CPE requirements and other questions about how to maintain. We have several events coming up, that informational sessions for all of these different groups to cover all these different questions. So please let everybody know about these upcoming opportunities. Next slide, please. Now you've heard about March being CGFM month, and that is, obviously coming up soon. So just kind of wanted to put it out there because March is going to be here before you know it. And if we encourage all the chapters to declare March CGFM month in their city, county, state, their government, and then use this opportunity to promote AGA and CGFM, have a photo op with a proclamation, invite government officials to your chapter meetings, invite non-member CGFMs to your chapter so that they can learn the value of AGA, recognize those CGFMs that are members of your chapters, hold a lunch and learn about CGFM. So there's a lot of different kinds of things you can do to celebrate it. They can promote both CGFM as well as AGA. So we have some ideas on our website under CGFM month for CGFMs, employers, chapters. We also have the sample proclamation and letter in the chapter resources that you can use to declare March CGFM month. If you want to hold a lunch and learn, contact us. I have several already scheduled for March with different chapters where we're going to be giving presentations on CGFM, and we can do this for employers or chapters. So let us know if you have interest in that. So please take this opportunity to celebrate, but also, recognize the CGFMs and introduce them to your chapter if they're not currently a member. So So coming up soon, please get ready and get prepared for celebrating March CGFM month. Next slide, please. And this one's technically not a CGFM one, but it is something that we are also working on with the CGFM team, and that is AGA beefing up and growing AGA on-demand offerings. So we've had several courses available to members and non-members and CGFMs, really anybody who is interested in taking CPE training and learning more and doing it on demand. And we've been growing this library. We have several courses, currently in progress that we are working on. And this is a great opportunity to earn CPs on your own time. And they're also very cost effective. They are NASBA certified. So take advantage of this opportunity. I know that at the beginning of the year, this is a grace period for a lot of our CGFMs where they may need to catch up on their CPEs. So if individuals, are short, I know there's some training that got moved or canceled last year. So this is an opportunity to catch up. The other thing is CGFMs are required to have 4 hours in ethics every year. And this is a requirement for all CGFMs. And we have 4 hours of ethics in the on-demand courses. So again, we will continue growing this offerings, but this is a CP opportunity that we want to make sure you're aware of for your members. So that is all I have. Any questions? Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Katya, for sharing. And of course, I'll drop all those links in my follow-up email as well. So if you guys have any questions, just reach out and I'll pass it along. All right. So remaining for the rest of this NCC meeting, we're going to talk about LEAD 2026 and remaining program year opportunities. So before we do that, we do need your help. We want to better support our chapters, but in order to do that, we do need your input. And so I'm going to start throwing in little polls in our meetings. And this is a question that kind of comes up really frequently. We have found that some chapters have experienced a lot of difficulty using Google Form due to government restrictions. So what we're really looking for is we want to try to see what platform your chapters use for event registration, maybe surveys, free. We do love free. So I have opened a poll, and if you guys could just drop the different, the different platforms that you guys use, that would be really wonderful, because that's going to help us be able to share that with other chapters as well. So I'm going to keep that open. Give it 1 minute, get some responses. And if anyone wants to comment on the platform that they wrote down or share anything with the group, feel free to raise your hand and we'll call on you. All right. Got about 30 more seconds. I know some people use things like Eventbrite. Some people have paid subscriptions to a website that does it all for them. I believe Microsoft also Outlook has forms available now that are relatively similar to Google Forms. All right, awesome. Thank you guys so much. All right, perfect. So I thought it was going to show me all the answers right away, but it did not. Okay, so we have one more question for you now. Oh, wait, there we go. All right, so those are the results there. And then I'm going to ask you one more question here. And this one is just very easy. How much do you guys charge for, per CPE? Sorry, my computer was acting all funky. Just given the fact that you are having a speaker either come out or attend your event, right? And if you do charge for those types of events, we are just curious as to how much? What is the value there? So I'm going to leave this poll open for 45 seconds. So far, we've got 8 answers. Love to see some more. There's 41 people in here. And again, I'm not going to share, who said what. It's really just for me to collect some feedback and be able to share it with some chapters that I'm working with. All right, got about 20 more seconds. All right, thank you guys for participating. All right, and I don't know if this is really sharing anything on your end, or if it just has a link. So you guys let me know if you see anything.
No, we
right.
didn't see any of the results.
Oh, okay. Yeah, when I click on it, I thought it was going to pop up. When I click on it, it opens into Zoom and I have to download a report. So I will share that though. You know what? I'll share that in my follow-up email.
Thanks.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for letting me know, Susan. Appreciate that. All right, so moving right into LEAD. So what is LEAD, right? LEAD is an in-person chapter leadership training. Okay, and it's really to help help new chapter leaders prepare for the upcoming program year. And it also offers opportunities to collaborate and network. So really, we're just trying to give you, all of the tools and resources that we can in order to prepare you for a successful program year. And right here we have a quote from my former area director, Nicole Boswell. So some information about LEAD logistically wise. Where is LEAD? So if you have not heard yet, the location of LEAD is different this year. This year we are going to be at the Renaissance Arlington Capitol View Hotel, and that is located in Arlington, Virginia. So a few highlights here. It is less than a mile away from the Reagan National Airport. It is a quick drive, a metro ride to downtown DC. It's very walkable. There's parks, local attractions, lots of stuff to do in this area. So although we are changing the location, there's still a lot of really great benefits of being in Arlington. And one of the biggest ones I'll talk about next. So when is LEAD? Again, these dates have changed significantly. LEAD this year will be from Sunday, July 19th through Monday, July 20th. So if you haven't noticed, LEAD is now scheduled right before PDT, which runs from July 21st to 23rd. And I just want to stress that this is a really unique opportunity that we're trying out this year for those of you who have not attended PDT before, right? This allows for you to have a lot of different collaborations with chapter leaders, as well as also, excuse me, a lot of different members who attend our PDT. So this was a strategic decision to make the event more valuable. And I'm going to tell you a few reasons why. So we're thinking one trip, twice the value, right? You get to knock out both events in one trip since they are back to back. Instead of flying in for LEAD and then flying in for PDT, you can attend both, right? This can also help with some employers when asking about taking leave or traveling for professional development. This way, it's all in one trip. Another thing here is the immediate impact. With LEAD happening in July, the new program year has just begun. So it means you can take everything you learn, ideas, strategies, best practices, and immediately begin implementing them. And then last but not least, that continuous connection. Having LEAD immediately before PDT really allows for a seamless transition between two really great learning experiences. We really believe that the scheduling will build great momentum, maximize your networking opportunities, and like I said earlier, can be a really great incentive for your employer. So if you have never been to PDT before, it is great. There are tons of different sessions that you can go to, a lot of networking opportunities, a broad range of topics. I will include information about PDT inside of my follow-up email as well. All right, but going back to Lee. So who?
Hey, Dana?
Yes.
Sure, this is Anne. If I can just add to it. So for those of you who don't live in the Washington, D.C. area, your news is not pounded all the time by it's the 250th anniversary of the United States. So our birthday, our 250th birthday. So that's another cool reason that we're having, to be or to come to Washington, D.C., because there's going to be a ton of different kinds of at museums and stuff, different kinds of exhibits and just kind of a lot to do. So it's kind of a monument, literally a monumental kind of thing. But didn't want to let this go by without reminding you guys 250th anniversary of our country. So that's also a very cool reason to be in DC. Thanks.
That it is, and thank you for sharing that. I agree completely. It's going to be great down here. All right, and I will definitely share some more information about all that as well. So who is eligible to attend LEAD? So each chapter can send two chapter executive committee members or CEC members. Okay, so the first is the NCC representative for the 2026-27 program year. Now that said, if you are the 2026-27 NCC representative and you've also previously attended LEAD in any capacity, please send another representative, and ideally someone that you are considering for as your successor, right? LEAD is an opportunity for new chapter leaders to learn a lot of new ideas, use new resources, collaborate, etc. So we really want to make sure that that opportunity is open to people who have not been before. And then we have our second attendee, which can be any chapter officer of the 2026-2027 program year. So does anyone have any questions about what's on this page? I know last time some people had questions about the NCC rep, so just want to pause for a second to make sure. Yes, Claudia.
Hi, Dana.
Hi.
So the two attendees for the chapter is that is what AGA will cover, but if the chapter will pay, can they send another person over?
That's a great question, Claudia. As much as we would love to have, every chapter bring more than two people, unfortunately, we have to keep in mind the space of the hotel and the rooms that are available for the sessions. So we are going to limit it to just two people from each chapter.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Great question. All right, so something new this year for LEAD is we are going to host a series of pre-LEAD webinars. So these will be held every other Tuesday beginning in April. And the reason that we're going to have these webinars is we really want to cover foundational information prior to getting to LEAD. So these webinars will be live sessions. I will obviously send out recordings and any follow-up information to LEAD attendees. And just a little bit of the why behind that. Really, we did this because we think that these pre-LEAD webinars are really going to allow us to spend less time reviewing like resources and basics and allow more time for learning together at LEAD. So we're really going to try to take advantage of that in-person, time to dive into deeper topics and more strategic conversations. All right, so what can you expect at LEAD? LEAD's going to span over 2 days with one full day and one half day of sessions. So attendees should plan to arrive on Saturday, July 18th. There's no time restriction there, as on Sunday, that would be the start of all of the sessions, right? There'll be a full day of sessions. There will be breakfast, lunch, and coffee breaks provided. The evening on Sunday is going to be free for attendees to explore, dine, and network, travel around DC and Arlington, and visit all those sites Anne was talking about earlier. And then on Monday, that's going to be a half-day session. Okay, so, and that day would be departure day, unless, of course, you're staying for our amazing PDT, in which you're going to keep that party going. So on Monday, we will have breakfast and coffee breaks provided. We're hoping to have a CPE session at LEAD this year, but that's still in the works. So stay tuned there. All right, so for some next steps with LEAD, if you are interested in LEAD or if you know someone in your chapter who is interested in LEAD, please share with them the February 10th LEAD informational session. So that's going to be from 2 to 3. And I'm going to go into a little bit more detail about what to expect at LEAD, travel arrangements, hotels, things like that, just a deeper dive. So I'll send that registration link as well. Then once your chapter CEC has voted and selected 2 attendees for LEAD, we ask that you complete the chapter attendee nomination form. And that is going to be due by March 6th. So that date is different from what was in the ACE recording sheet. So I'll send out reminders as we get a little bit closer to it. And of course, if you have any questions between now and the informational session, or even after the informational session, there's my contact information so you can reach me. All right, Stewie. Someone.
Hey, Dana, I asked, I put a question in the chat. What if somebody misses one of those Tuesday meetings? Is it going to be recorded so they don't totally miss out? And then where would they find the recording?
Oh, great question. So yes, if someone misses one of these, so just to go back, and is referring to these pre-lead webinar series, these will be recorded and I will upload it into, I believe right now, the lead page on chapter resources. If that changes and it goes somewhere else, I will definitely let you guys know. But there will be video recordings for you to be able to watch. And I'll also have some time available for you guys if you can't make it to something and you just kind of want to touch base about the topic. I'm more than happy to meet with you and discuss. So really hoping that these pre-lead webinars go over basic things. So for example, things like chapter resources. What are the resources that you can find? Maybe there are things there that you didn't notice before. ACE, how does that program work? Sharing some examples for you, etc. Different responsibilities of chapter leadership roles, things like that. Thank you, Anne. That was a great question. Oh. All right. Now, one last poll for you guys. I am very big on getting feedback from members to help shape our sessions. So here's kind of a lot of the sessions that I've been thinking about as for LEAD 2026. However, I do want to ask if maybe there is something you'd like for us to try to include that you do not see in the list below. And if you do respond to this poll, I ask that you be super specific. That will definitely help me in shaping the sessions as well. So I'll give about 45 seconds for you to share if there is a topic that you don't see here but would like to hear about at LEAD. All right, let's getting some answers here. Couple more maybe, or maybe there's not a topic you don't see. Maybe there's something that you've want to try that's new. And also, I do just want to state too, there will be breakout sessions to collaborate with AG national staff and as well as your area directors. All right, give it 10 more seconds to get your final answers in. All right, thank you guys so much for participating in that. That really helps me. I appreciate that. All right. So moving right along, the next thing we have is our chapter program year opportunities. So next is the Volunteer of the Year nominations. This is a really great award. We ask that you nominate a CEC member to be recognized at PDT in Washington, D.C. One volunteer from each chapter is selected to receive this award. Sorry, there's a question in the chats. Yes, I can put that in the chat for you shortly. Paul asked if I could put the pre-lead session into the chat, and I will do that shortly. And then Kelly had a comment, and I'm going to piggyback off her sentiments. Please, please, please nominate someone for the Volunteer of the Year award. It is a shame when no one gets this honor from a chapter. Okay, so remember, a person from each chapter can get it. So let's try to get all of our chapters a Volunteer of the Year award nomination. All right, and then the last one we have, or the second one we have here, is the Chapter Communications Award. So this is an award to recognize chapters that excel in communicating with their members. This can be through the websites, newsletters, social media, etc. Now, this typically happens, the deadline for this is typically earlier in the program year, but due to everything that happened with the chapter websites and that transition period, we have extended the deadline to April 1st, 2026 to nominate your chapter. And I'll have that nomination form linked there for you. And then I see a question in the chat. Does the nominee have to attend PDT to receive their award? And Kelly is correct, they do not. So I'll pause here. Are there any other questions? Okay. All right, so some other program year opportunities really focused around PDT. We have our early career scholarship that's going to be opening up at the end of March. Our PDT host committee is ongoing. We have our PDT hotel scholarships, which are currently open. I will discuss that a little bit more on the next slide. And then, of course, the chapter awards. So those are going to be announced at the end of May 2025. So we have a lot of different awards. We've got that Volunteer of the Year award, of course, the ACE award, which can be bronze, silver, gold, platinum. And we have Recruiter of the Year awards, membership growth awards, for lots of opportunities for celebration here. And again, the last two that I just talked about, those Communications Award and the Volunteer of the Year Award. So please be on the lookout for emails from me and your area directors notifying you of when these are open, as well as on Leadership Matters. I'll include it there as well. All right, so some PDT 26 chapter hotel scholarship information. The scholarship program hotel for PDT is the Grand Hyatt in Washington, D.C. So very, very nice hotel. I like it a lot. So some things about the scholarship. Each chapter gets 2 hotel scholarships. And then the chapter hotel scholarships are currently open until June 12th of 2026. So I did send an email out to chapter presidents with very detailed instructions and just more information about hotel scholarships. So if you have not heard about this, please check in with your chapter president to get more details and instructions on how to move forward. And I know that email is lengthy. Please read the whole thing. All right. And if you need me to send it again, I'll be more than happy to do so. Any questions about PDT related opportunities, awards, hotel scholarships? And if you're someone who is interested in attending LEAD and PDT, I'll definitely go over how that works in that informational session. And I did drop the link to that in the chat. All right, so we have our upcoming meetings for the remainder of the program year. There is only one Treasurers Town Hall left. That's going to be on May 21st. I'll send an email to chapter treasurers and presidents. And then we have our upcoming town halls. So again, that LEAD 26 informational session on February 10th. And then as Katya said early, March is CGFM month. So there will be a CGFM month town hall on March 10th. And those registration links are here on the slide for you. And last but not least, our ACE deadline. So one thing I wanted to note is that we extended the deadline for the second ACE pulse check. That is going to be due on February 13th. I will be sending an email to ACE reporting chairs as well as chapter presidents, probably Wednesday or Thursday with video, just kind of going over the new look of the ACE page. On April 15th, submit your award nominations for bonus points. And then May 1st, that is that final ACE pulse check. That one's really important. That's the one we really look at to use for ACE awards at PDT. And then also just to see how you guys are doing in your progress throughout the year. So one thing about the final pulse check, attachments are optional except bonus eligible items and chapter bios. And if you need any clarification on any of this, feel free to reach out. All right. That is all that I have for today. So I'm just gonna leave it open to see if anyone has any additional questions before we wrap up here. All right. Thank you, Lisa. Appreciate you too. And thank you guys, everything that you've been doing for your chapters. It's been a wonderful set of NCC meetings. I've loved all the discussion that we've had. Love getting to learn more about you guys, your chapters, how things work. So we really, really do appreciate you. AGA couldn't do it without you. So thank you again. If you guys have any questions, you know where to reach me. Have a great afternoon, everyone.